Hey Broncos fans, welcome to Broncos News Now, your channel for everything Denver Broncos. Before we get started, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any hot NFL news. If the 11-2 Denver Broncos are going to fulfill the lofty expectations that have followed them all season and ultimately achieve Super Bowl glory, they cannot afford to rest on the laurels of their 10-game winning streak, a remarkable feat that has captured the imagination of their fans and analysts alike. The next challenge on their schedule is the 9-3 Green Bay Packers, who are set to visit Denver in a game that not only tests the Broncos' resolve, but also kicks off a critical stretch of 4 difficult matchups that will define the final chapter of a season that has already surpassed many expectations. For a team that has been building momentum through precision, strategy, and the sheer will to dominate each week, this stretch is more than just a series of games. It is a proving ground for everything that the Broncos have worked for since the offseason began. Cornerback Patrick Surtain II, a linchpin in Denver's formidable defense, has spoken candidly about how the team views its upcoming opponents, emphasizing the belief that adversity and challenge are not obstacles, but rather opportunities to demonstrate their competitive DNA. Speaking with 9 News' Scotty Gange, Surtain was measured yet enthusiastic about the road ahead. That's what the NFL is all about. Each and every week, a new opponent comes, he explained, underlining the relentless nature of the league where consistency and adaptability are the ultimate tests. He acknowledged that the Broncos have some exceptional adversaries in the final stretch, stressing that if the team truly wants to be recognized among the elite, then every remaining game carries weight and significance, an assertion that reflects a mindset grounded in both realism and ambition. As Denver prepares to host Green Bay, the Broncos know they are facing a more complex challenge than the recent game against the Las Vegas Raiders, a team whose struggles were laid bare in a decisive loss. The Packers, led by the dynamic combination of Micah Parsons and quarterback Jordan Love, present a defensive and offensive threat that will demand Denver's best on every snap, forcing the Broncos to adapt and elevate their game. Yet within the team's locker room, there exists a unique equilibrium. The desire to prove their dominance, to extend their winning streak, coexists seamlessly with a collective appreciation for the victories and progress they have achieved thus far. The mood in Denver's camp is buoyed by a culture of celebration, camaraderie, and mutual respect, embodied by the team's playful moniker for their locker room celebrations, Club Dub, which has become synonymous with joy, unity, and the sweet rewards of hard-fought victories. For Surtain, the narrative is not simply about wins and losses, but about perseverance, loyalty, and the satisfaction that comes from seeing long-term effort culminate in tangible success. He reflected on this with an evident sense of fulfillment. "Yeah, it feels good finally watching the tide change," he said to Gange, encapsulating the emotions of a team that has endured years of development, trials, and incremental growth to reach this pinnacle. The 11 wins they have amassed this season are a testament not just to talent, but to the grit and commitment of players who have remained steadfast through both highs and lows. Achieving such a record in a league as competitive and unforgiving as the NFL is no minor accomplishment. And for the Broncos, it marks a moment of pride, reflection, and anticipation for what comes next. Much of Denver's success can be traced to the seamless interplay between offense and defense, a complementary dynamic that has allowed the team to control games, manage energy, and execute strategies with precision. Double-digit winning streaks, particularly in the modern NFL, are rarely accidental. They're the product of meticulous planning, adaptability, and relentless attention to the finer points of game management. This was evident in their recent matchup in Las Vegas, where the Broncos' offense executed their 3 longest drives of the season, maneuvers that not only wore down the opposition, but also allowed the defensive unit much-needed rest and recovery, a critical factor over the grueling 17-game campaign. Surtain himself acknowledged the strategic benefit of these offensive drives, praising his teammates for controlling time of possession and giving the defense the opportunity to maintain peak performance across the contest. Beyond individual games, the wider context of the AFC landscape continues to shift in ways that influence Denver's path forward. While the Kansas City Chiefs have effectively been removed from the divisional equation, the Los Angeles Chargers remain in contention after a fortuitous win against the Philadelphia Eagles, ensuring that the Broncos cannot afford complacency in their pursuit of both divisional supremacy and playoff positioning. Small lapses on defense, though manageable, will require the offensive unit, led by a capable yet pressure-tested quarterback, to continue producing at a high level, sustaining the momentum that has made Club Dub a symbol of consistent excellence and infectious energy. Even as challenges mount, Certain and his teammates are acutely aware that their season is still very much in their own hands, that the layout of remaining opportunities is clear, and that the measure of their greatness will ultimately be defined by how they respond to adversity, maintain cohesion, and uphold the standards that have carried them this far. There is a palpable sense of focus and determination in Denver's camp, one that is paired with gratitude for the journey and recognition of the stakes. Every practice, every preparation meeting, and every snap in these coming weeks will be infused with the knowledge that they are competing not just for wins, but for the validation of a season that has already showcased their talent, resilience, and the enduring spirit of a team built to overcome challenges and seize the moment. The narrative surrounding the Broncos is as much about culture and mindset as it is about physical performance, and certain reflections capture this duality. The ability to enjoy the fruits of labor while simultaneously preparing for the next test defines elite teams. And in Denver's case, it manifests in a locker room that celebrates, a defense that adapts, and an offense that dictates tempo and outcome. The synergy between these units, combined with the mental toughness that comes from sticking together through adversity, creates a formidable foundation that positions the Broncos not only for regular season success, but also for a deep and potentially championship-caliber postseason run. As they prepare for Green Bay and the subsequent challenges that lie ahead, the Broncos' message is clear. Past accomplishments are a source of pride, but they are not the destination. The team is focused on execution, on consistency, and on capitalizing on the chemistry and cohesion that has brought them to 11 wins, a record that reflects both talent and effort. Every player, from veterans who have endured the highs and lows of prior seasons to newer contributors who have integrated seamlessly into the system, understands the importance of maintaining intensity and focus. The Broncos' remaining games are not merely fixtures on a schedule. They're decisive battles in a campaign that has the potential to etch this team into the annals of franchise history. Ultimately, the Broncos' story is one of preparation meeting opportunity, of skill meeting strategy, and of a locker room culture that has learned to balance celebration with relentless drive. Certain's honest appraisal of the upcoming slate of games underscores a central truth of the NFL. No team is unbeatable, no victory guaranteed, and every week is a chance to prove, refine, and reaffirm excellence. As Denver faces Green Bay, followed by other formidable foes, the blueprint is simple yet challenging. Execute on both sides of the ball, support one another, and harness the momentum of past wins to fuel future triumphs. In this context, the Broncos are not merely participants. They're contenders, a team with vision, cohesion, and the kind of competitive fire that can carry them from a historic regular season to the ultimate prize. And Certain's words reflect not just confidence, but the grounded understanding that in football, as in life, the next challenge is always the most important one. The Denver Broncos' journey from off-season planning to 11-2, from strategy sessions to game day execution, and from modest expectations to championship aspirations, embodies the essence of professional football. The relentless pursuit of excellence, the embrace of challenge, and the celebration of collective effort. Each drive, each defensive stop, and each locker room moment contributes to a narrative that is still being written, with Certain and his teammates at the center, focused on finishing strong, honoring their preparation, and proving that the sum of their parts is greater than any individual achievement. As the NFL season races toward its climax, the Broncos have the chance to translate their remarkable regular season performance into a defining legacy, one game at a time, one challenge at a time, fully aware that history is not made in weeks of comfort, but in moments of pressure adversity, and unwavering commitment to the team, the vision, and the ultimate goal of Super Bowl glory. The air in Denver is electric, the stakes are immense, and the storylines are compelling. Patrick Surtain II has made it clear that the Broncos are not merely content with what they have accomplished. They are determined to carry their momentum into each remaining game with precision, intelligence, and heart. With the Packers standing in their way first and a series of challenging opponents following, the Broncos are being tested in ways that will define not just their season, but their legacy as a team capable of seizing opportunity, overcoming adversity, and ultimately fulfilling the promise that has been quietly building in the hearts of their players, their coaches, and their fans all year long. Every snap, every drive, and every defensive stand from here on out is a chance to solidify that legacy. And for a team built on resilience, unity, and strategic excellence, the Denver Broncos are poised to make each of those moments count. This narrative, as told through the voice of Patrick Surtain II, is one of perspective and honesty, of recognizing both the successes already earned and the challenges that remain. It is a story of a team aware of its capabilities, grounded in its preparation, and inspired by the possibilities that lie just ahead. As Denver continues its pursuit of greatness, the balance of celebration and focus, of pride and ambition, of experience and hunger, will define not just the outcome of these final games, but the identity of a Broncos team that has proven it can thrive under pressure, grow through adversity, and if it maintains this trajectory, leave an indelible mark on the league, the city, and the sport itself. A legacy built not only on talent, but on perseverance, unity, and the relentless pursuit of excellence in every facet of the game. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk Broncos. And don't forget to hit the bell to get all the latest NFL updates. Rumors have been swirling around the NFL world ever since Patrick Sean Payton, the former Saints coach and current Denver Broncos head, apparently lost his temper in a way that has set the league buzzing. Sources whisper that in a heated locker room confrontation, Payton allegedly declared, "We have two cancers in the locker room. I'm going to eliminate both of them." The words, if true, have ignited a storm of speculation, debate, and intense curiosity, because coming from someone with Payton's reputation for strategic brilliance and measured leadership, this seems almost unthinkable. Fans and insiders alike are now trying to piece together who the targets might be, why Payton would go so far, and what it all means for the Broncos' fragile team dynamics. Those who have followed Payton's career know that this is a man who built his coaching legacy on meticulous preparation and an almost surgical ability to manage personalities. From 2006 until 2021, he guided the New Orleans Saints, a team that many had written off as inconsistent, all the way to a Super Bowl victory. His methods were disciplined, precise, and often lauded by players and media alike. To see him described in such explosive terms as someone ready to eliminate locker room elements conjures an image far removed from the composed, tactical mastermind the public has long admired. This is why the current chatter has the NFL universe leaning forward, ears pricked, with everyone trying to decode if Payton's words were literal, metaphorical, or perhaps even blown out of proportion by the intensity of the moment. The Broncos themselves have been no strangers to internal tension. Reports over the past seasons have hinted at disagreements, personality clashes, and moments where the cohesion of the locker room was less than ideal. Yet, nothing has ever publicly suggested that Payton would openly brand individuals as cancers and announce an intention to cut them out. The rumor has already generated dozens of theories among insiders, social media pundits, and devoted fans. Some speculate that this could involve veteran players whose influence has become divisive. Others point toward younger athletes whose behavior may not align with the culture Payton is striving to enforce. Whatever the truth, it is certain that the words have raised more questions than answers. And in the world of professional football, questions can sometimes have a life of their own. Imagining the scene, sources describe the locker room atmosphere as electric, thick with tension, with teammates frozen as Payton allegedly made the statement. The context is said to have been a discussion over recent performances, perhaps a particularly rough practice or a string of questionable games, but no official confirmation has surfaced. The drama, however, is palpable. Rumors suggest that the two cancers might not be limited to on-field performance alone. Personality conflicts, off-field behavior, and even issues of leadership and influence could be contributing factors. In a league where team chemistry is as crucial as talent, the thought of a head coach singling out individuals in such stark terms can send ripples that affect morale, media narratives, and even fan perception. The Broncos organization, to date, has remained characteristically tight-lipped, which only adds fuel to the speculative fire. Insiders point out that Payton has always had an exacting standard for his teams. His Saints squads were famous not only for explosive offenses and strategic ingenuity, but also for the sense of unity and focus that permeated the locker room. He demanded accountability, professionalism, and a level of respect for the team above all else. Some argue that if anyone were capable of identifying a cancer and taking decisive action, it would indeed be Payton. Others, however, caution that public comments of this nature, if accurately reported, could jeopardize his standing, damage trust among players, and create an environment of fear rather than discipline. There's a thin line between strong leadership and intimidation, and if Payton crossed it, intentional or not, the ramifications could be substantial. The identity of the players allegedly implicated remains one of the league's most tantalizing mysteries. Names are being floated quietly among insiders, though none have been confirmed. Speculation ranges from established veterans who are seen as influential but difficult to manage, to younger talent whose fiery personalities may have rubbed the coach the wrong way. Some narratives suggest that these players have been part of long-standing disputes or have repeatedly clashed with teammates and coaching staff, slowly eroding the cohesion that Payton is known for enforcing. Others suggest a more shocking possibility, that the so-called cancers could include high-profile stars, individuals whose removal from the locker room would be headline-grabbing and potentially transformative for the team's culture. Meanwhile, the Broncos fan base is caught in a whirlwind of excitement and concern. Social media feeds are buzzing with debates about loyalty, leadership, and the ethics of public condemnation. Commentators on sports networks speculate endlessly, weighing the potential strategic genius of Payton's decision against the human cost of singling out teammates in such a stark, seemingly aggressive way. Forums are littered with hypothetical scenarios, how the locker room might react, whether players would rise to the challenge, or whether fractures could grow so large that even Payton's tactical acumen might not hold the team together. Rumors like these don't exist in a vacuum. They shape perceptions, create storylines that endure far longer than any single practice, and often pressure teams into decisions they might not otherwise consider. There's also historical context to consider. Payton is not a coach known for impulsive, emotional outbursts in professional settings. His career has been defined by a cool, calculated approach, whether designing plays, managing egos, or navigating the complex media lands. And then there is the question of consequences. What happens if these rumors are substantiated? What if Payton does indeed take action against individuals deemed cancers in the locker room? The NFL is no stranger to drama, but a public acknowledgement of such a move would be extraordinary, even unprecedented. The impact on team culture, locker room morale, and organizational dynamics could be profound. On the other hand, if the rumor is overblown, misquoted, or taken out of context, it could unfairly tarnish a coach whose reputation for excellence has spanned decades. Every word uttered by or about Payton now carries weight, magnified by the intense scrutiny of fans, analysts, and the media ecosystem. The story, therefore, is alive and evolving. The phrase, if true, has embedded itself in league lore almost instantly. Two cancers, a head coach ready to eliminate them, a locker room on edge. It touches on fundamental questions of leadership, team chemistry, and the pressures faced by those at the top of the NFL pyramid. While we may never know every detail, the speculation itself provides a window into the drama, tension, and high-stakes environment of professional football. Fans are left to ponder, imagine, and debate, with each whisper and insider report fueling the narrative further. Whether this leads to transformative change, dramatic exits, or a recalibration of relationships within the Broncos, one thing is certain. The league is watching, the rumor mills are spinning, and the story of Sean Payton's locker room declaration has captured the imagination of everyone from casual observers to die-hard aficionados. As the saga continues to unfold, the conversation around the Broncos, Payton, and the alleged locker room turmoil will likely dominate discussions for weeks, perhaps months. Analysts will dissect motivations. Fans will theorize endlessly, and insiders will tiptoe around confirmation or denial. It is the kind of story that lives in the gray area between rumor and reality, between private confrontation and public consequence. And in the world of professional football, where every statement can spark headlines and every action can ripple across locker rooms, the echoes of those explosive words will continue to resonate. Sean Payton, the mastermind behind a Super Bowl-winning dynasty and a coach renowned for discipline and intellect, now finds himself at the center of perhaps the most tantalizing rumor of his current career, a narrative that challenges assumptions, provokes discussion, and captivates the imagination of the sporting world. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this, give us a like and share with other Broncos fans. And of course, make sure to subscribe to Broncos News Now to stay on top of all the NFL news and analysis.